Hello, dear friend, and welcome to the Light That Never Fade. I'm your host, Kennedy Osule, and it is truly a blessing to have you with me today. If you've been walking this journey with us through our previous episodes, thank you. Your time, your reflections, and your encouragement mean more than you know. And if today is your first time listening, let me warmly welcome you into our growing community. When you finish this episode, I invite you to explore some of our earlier conversations on love, hope, prayer, and the dignity of humanity. If today's reflection touches your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone, a friend, a family member, or perhaps someone who simply needs a little hope today. Sometimes the smallest act of sharing becomes the beginning of someone else's journey. Now, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you watched the sunrise without looking at the time? When did you last stop beside a river and simply listen? Have you ever walked through a forest and noticed how every sound means to belong there, as if creation itself was singing in harmony? Or perhaps you've stood beneath a sky filled with stars and felt, even for a moment, both incredibly small and wonderfully loved. We spend so much of our life trying to be heard that we often forget to listen. Yet, I believe nature has been speaking to us all along. The question is not whether nature has something to say, the question is whether we have become quiet enough to hear it. So, wherever you are listening today, whether you are sitting at home, traveling on a bus, taking a walk, or resting after a long day, I invite you to slow down for a little while. Let these next few minutes become a moment of rest for your heart. Together, let's walk through rivers and forests, climb mountains, sit beneath ancient trees, listen to birds greeting the mornings, and discover what God's creation quietly teaches us about life, faith, and hope. The world around us moves quickly. Every day we receive countless notifications, deadlines, responsibilities, and worries. We are constantly connected, yet many people have never felt more disconnected from one another, from themselves, and even from God. Perhaps that is why so many people find peace when they step into nature. It is as though creation gently reminds us of something we have forgotten. I remember one morning standing beside a quiet river just before sunrise. The world had not fully awakened. The water flowed gently, carrying with it reflections of the first light of dawn. A cool breeze moved softly through the trees, and the only voices were those of birds welcoming a new day. Nothing seemed to be in a hurry. The river was not rushing to reach the sea. The trees were not competing to grow taller overnight. Even the sun rose patiently, exactly when it was meant to. So standing there, I realized something that has stayed with me ever since. Nature never struggles to become what God created it to be. A river simply flows, a bird simply sings, a tree simply grows. Yet as human beings, we often spend so much time trying to become someone else that we forgot the unique purpose God has placed within us. The writings of the faith invite us to see creation with new eyes. Abdul Baha tells us, nature is God's will and is its expression in and through the contingent world. What a beautiful thought. Nature is not merely something beautiful to admire during a holiday or photograph on a weekend. It is one of God's classrooms. Every part of creation has something to teach us, if only we are willing to become its students. Think about a single seed. If I were to place a tiny seed in the palm of your hand, you might wonder how something so small could ever become a mighty tree. Yet hidden within that tiny seed is potential that our eyes cannot see. It does not become a tree in one day. It begins beneath the soil, where no one applauds its progress. Day after day, it develops roots before it grows branches. It becomes strong where nobody is looking. Isn't that true for our own life? We often want visible success before invisible growth. We want the fruit before developing the roots. Yet nature teaches us that what happens beneath the surface determines what eventually appears above it. The same is true spiritually. Before kindness is seen in our action, It must grow quietly within our hearts. Before wisdom appears in our words, it develops through prayer, reflection, and experience. Before unity transforms communities, it begins in individual hearts willing to love beyond differences. Perhaps some of you listening today feel like that seed. Maybe you are working hard, praying faithfully, serving quietly, and wondering whether your efforts matter because no one seems to notice. If that is you, let me encourage you today. God notices. Just as He watches over every seed beneath the earth, He watches over every sincere effort you make. Growth often happens long before anyone else can see it. And isn't that a message of hope? Sometimes we judge our lives by what is visible, while God is accomplishing His greatest work in places hidden from human eyes. Now think about rivers. I have always admired rivers because they possess a quiet determination. They rarely travel in straight lines. They encounter rocks, fallen trees, steep cliffs, and winding valleys. Yet they never stop moving. They simply find another way. What if we lived like that? How many times do we abandon hope simply because we meet one obstacle? How many dreams have disappeared because the road became difficult? The river whispers another lesson. It says keep moving. Perhaps not as quickly as yesterday, perhaps not in the direction you expected, but keep moving. And isn't that exactly what faith asks of us? Faith doesn't promise a life without obstacles. It gives us the courage to continue flowing even when we cannot yet see the sea. As I stood there watching that river, another thought came to my mind. The river never drinks its own water. It exists to give life to everything around it. It refreshes thirsty animals, nourishes crops, fills lakes, and sustains entire communities. Its purpose is found not in keeping everything for itself, but in continually giving. I wonder if that's one of God's gentle invitation to us. Perhaps the happiest people are not those who accumulate the most, but those who give the most of themselves. A smile offered to a stranger, a helping hand to someone in need, a comforting conversation with a friend, a sincere prayer for another person. These are like rivers flowing through our lives, bringing life wherever they go. Baha'u'llah reminds us that our lives find their greatest meaning in service. Service is not something reserved for extraordinary people. It begins in ordinary moments with ordinary people choosing to do extraordinary acts of kindness. Nature understands this. The tree never eats its own fruit. The flower never enjoys its own fragrance. The clouds never drink the rain they carry. Everything in creation seems to exist for something beyond itself. Perhaps that's why nature feels so peaceful. Everything is fulfilling the purpose for which it was created. Sometimes I think we underestimate the wisdom hidden in silence. Have you ever noticed that forests are never completely quiet? Yet none of their sounds compete with one another. The birds sing, the wind whispers through the branches, insects move quietly beneath fallen leaves, rivers continue their gentle conversation with the earth, and together they create harmony. No one is trying to be louder than the other. No one is trying to prove they are more important. Every part contributes something unique. Isn't that a beautiful picture of what humanity could become? The faith teaches us that diversity is not a problem to overcome. It is a gift to celebrate. Humanity resembles a magnificent garden. Imagine a garden filled with only one flower. However beautiful that flower may be, the garden will never reveal its full beauty. But when roses bloom beside lilies, when different colors, shapes, and fragrances come together, the garden becomes something extraordinary. Abdul Baha once compared humanity to a garden filled with many different flowers. Each flower has its own color, its own fragrance, and its own beauty, yet together they create harmony. And whenever I walk through a forest, I see that teaching brought to life. No two trees are exactly alike. Some stand tall, others bend with the wind. Some blossom in brilliant colors. Others remain green throughout the year. Yet together they create a place where countless forms of life can flourish. I often ask myself, what if our communities looked more like forests? What if we celebrated one another's gift instead of comparing ourselves? What if we listened before judging? And what if we learned that another person's success never diminishes our own? And perhaps our homes will become more peaceful. Perhaps our community will become more united. Perhaps our world will begin to resemble the harmony we already see in God's creation. Then there are the mountains. Mountains have always inspired me. Standing at the foot of one, you immediately realize how small you are. Yet, strangely, you don't feel insignificant. You feel connected to something much greater than yourself. And mountains remind us that greatness is often quiet. They do not announce their strengths, they simply stand. Year after year, storm after storm, season after season, snow may cover them, rain may shape them, wind may strike them, yet they remain. And how many times in life do we need that kind of steadiness? There will always be seasons when the winds of life become strong. We may experience disappointment, loss, uncertainty, or grief. During those moments, nature reminds us that strength is not always found in resisting every storm. Sometimes strength is found in remaining rooted while the storm passes. The faith writings remind us that every difficulty carries within it the opportunity for growth. So, looking back on our life, we often discover that the moments we wished had never happened became the very experiences that deepened our compassion, strengthened our faith, and prepared us to serve others. Even the seasons teach this lesson because winter never asks permission before it arrives. The leaves fall, the fields become quiet, the branches appear empty. To someone who has never experienced spring, winter might seem like the end, but nature knows something we often forget. Life is still present beneath the surface. The roots continue their hidden work. The seeds remain alive beneath the soil. Everything is preparing for a season that has not yet arrived. Maybe someone listening today feels like they are living through winter. Perhaps your plans have not worked out as you hoped. Perhaps your heart is carrying burden no one else can see. Perhaps you're wondering whether brighter days will ever return. If that is where you find yourself today, I hope nature encourages you. Spring always comes, not because we force it to come, but because God has written renewal into every fabric of creation. And just as surely as He renews the earth, He can renew the human heart. So never lose hope. Sometimes what happens appears to be an ending is simply the quiet beginning of something beautiful that God is preparing. And there's another lesson that nature quietly whispers to us every single day, and it is the lesson of gratitude. Have you ever noticed that we often admire nature most when we step away from our routines? We travel many miles just to watch the sunrise over the ocean or disappear behind distant hills. We stop to photograph waterfalls, forests, and fields of wildflowers because they awaken something deep within us. Yet the same sun rises outside our own windows every morning. The same sky stretches above us each day. The same breeze gently touches our faces. Perhaps the miracle is not that these things are rare, but that they are so constant we sometimes forget how extraordinary they are. The writings of the faith encourage us to cultivate gratitude because gratitude changes the way we see the world. A grateful heart begins to notice blessings that were always there. It sees beauty where others see only routine. It discovers joy in simple moments. The fragrance of fresh rain upon the earth, the laughter of children playing beneath a tree, the sound of birds returning to their nest at dusk. These are not ordinary moments. They are gentle reminders that God continually surrounds us with signs of His love. One of my favorite moments in nature is just after the rain has fallen. Everything seems different. The leaves appear greener, the air feels cleaner, the earth carries a fragrance that cannot quite be described, only experienced, because tiny drops of water rest upon leaves like countless little jewels, reflecting the sunlight in every direction. Rain has always fascinated me. It falls upon the rich and the poor, upon forests and deserts, upon villages and cities. It does not choose who deserves its blessing, it simply gives. And perhaps that's another reflection of divine love. God's mercy is like the rain, it reaches every human heart. Sometimes we recognize it immediately and sometimes we do not. But it is always present, always inviting us to grow. Baha'u'llah writes, "The earth is but one country and mankind 8 citizens." Every time I read those words, I think of nature. Rivers do not stop flowing because they reach a national border. Birds do not carry passports as they migrate across continents. The wind does not ask what language we speak before refreshing our faces. The stars shine above every nation. Nature already lives the unity that humanity is still learning to embrace. What will happen if we looked at one another the way the earth does? Without prejudice, without suspicion, without barriers. Imagine a world where we saw every person as another branch of the same tree, another flower in the same garden, another traveler beneath the same sky. How different our conversations will become, how different our communities will become. Perhaps this is why the Baha'i faith places such importance on the oneness of humanity. Unity is not merely an ideal, it is woven into creation itself. As I reflect on this truth, I often ask myself another question. Are we caring for this beautiful world in the way God intended? The forests that purify our air are disappearing. The rivers that sustain life are becoming polluted. Many animals are losing their natural homes. Climate patterns are changing in ways that affect the most vulnerable communities around the world. And these are not only environmental concerns, they are spiritual concerns as well. When we care for creation, we express gratitude to its creator. When we waste, exploit or destroy without thought for future generations, we forget that the earth is a trust placed in our hands. The faith teachings encourage moderation, responsibility, and a deep respect for the natural world. Every tree we protect, every river we keep clean, every piece of land we care for becomes an act of service. We may not all become environmental scientists or conservationists, but every one of us can become a steward of creation. Sometimes stewardship begins with very small choices: planting a tree, reducing waste, caring for a garden, teaching children to appreciate the beauty around them, or simply refusing to litter the places that have brought us peace. Never underestimate those small acts. A forest begins with a single seed. A mighty river begins with tiny streams. A better world begins with ordinary people making faithful choices every day. And perhaps that is one of the greatest lessons nature offers us. Transformation is rarely sudden. It's patient, quiet, steady, almost unnoticed. Yet over time, it changes everything. Before we conclude today's reflection, I would like to invite you to do something this week. Find a place in nature where you can spend just 15 minutes without distractions. Leave your phone in your pocket. Sit beneath a tree. Walk beside a river. Watch the clouds moving across the sky. Listen carefully, not only with your ears, but with your heart. Then ask yourself these simple questions. What is God teaching me through this place? What beauty have I overlooked in my everyday life? How can I become more like the tree that gives generously, the river that keeps moving, or the mountain that stands firm through every season? You may be surprised by the answers that quietly emerge. My dear friend, as we come to the end of today's journey together, I want to leave you with one final thought. No matter where you are in life today, remember that the God who paints every sunrise has not forgotten you. The God who clothed the forest in green, who guides the rivers to the sea, who calls the birds to sing each morning, also knows your name, your struggles, your dreams, and your prayers. If He cares for every flower that blooms for only a season, how much more does He care for you? So, if your heart is heavy today, take courage. If your path seems uncertain, keep walking. If you are waiting for a new beginning, don't lose hope. Just as winter gives way to spring, just as night yields to dawn, and just as every seed carries within it the promises of new life, your life also carries possibilities that perhaps you cannot yet see. Hope is never wasted when it is placed in God. Thank you, dear friend, for spending this moment with me on the light that never fades. I hope today's reflection encourages you not only to admire nature, but to learn from it, care for it, and through it, draw closer to the one who created it all. If this episode has touched your heart, I warmly invite you to share it with someone who might need a moment of peace and encouragement. And if you haven't yet explored our previous episodes, I encourage you to do so. Together, we continue discovering how the timeless teachings of the Baha'i Faith illuminate our daily lives with wisdom, purpose, and hope. And next time, we'll continue this journey with another reflection that I hope will encourage your heart, deepen your faith, and inspire your service to humanity. Until we meet again, remember this. Every sunrise is a reminder that God is always creating new beginnings, and every act of kindness is another ray of light in a world that longs for hope. I'm Kennedy Osule, and this has been The Light That Never Fades. May your heart remain full of hope, your spirit strengthened by faith, and your life become a reflection of God's love wherever you go. Goodbye, and may the light that never fades continue to shine within you.